Good morning, everyone. Good morning, family. It's your girl, Sharita, the behavior and learning strategist, coming at you from the Work Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for your child's behavior and learning challenges. Many parents today do not know how to give consequences. Let's talk about it, y'all. And before I get started, listen, I'm not judging anybody because I definitely was that parent, okay? I struggled, okay, with giving consequences. Now, when you're a parent, there's a certain way you got to give consequences. It's different from, say, a professional. And that's what got me tripped up back in the day. I was a mental health specialist. Later on, I went on to become a special education teacher. But you can't be professional at home with your kids. And also, it has to be customized to you and your house. When you give consequences, you can't give a consequence that makes you have to work so hard to keep the consequence in place. Like, that's the best advice I could start this thing off with. Like, make the consequence seamless, okay? So that your child can take ownership of whatever their behavior was. They can take accountability. They're the ones having the consequence. The way that we parents give consequences, sometimes it's like we're giving ourselves a consequence too, right? And I was talking to one of the moms in my program yesterday, and that's a statement she made. And I know this is something that I've thought over the years as well. Can't do it that way, okay? Because then we can't do the big C word, which is be consistent. If the consequence you're giving your child is making you so tired and so stressed and so overwhelmed, it's not effective because you're about to drop off and you're not going to continue to do it, right? So many parents today struggle with giving consequences. And how to give consequences, staying consistent with giving consequences, right? And really, society, we're kind of hard on parents because whenever something is going wrong with the child, with our kids, we blame the parents. We blame the mom. We say that's bad parenting. The mom lets them do do this behavior. That's because there's no discipline at home. That's because there's no parenting at home. That's because but let's go into the home for a moment and let's actually look at what's happening. Because in my experience, both professionally and personally, and from working with parents over the years, parents are not just sitting home like, do whatever you want to do. I don't have time. I'm being lazy. I don't care. Parents are struggling. When you see a child in the school, right, in a classroom, and they are acting out, they have behavior problems, and it's very intense, and they're doing it every single day. That child at home is doing the same behavior in some way that the mom has to deal with and has not figured it out yet. Okay? In some way. They haven't figured it out in a way that is going to eliminate the behavior and then manifest a different kind of behavior. Well, it will manifest differently in your classroom, right? So for parents who are trying and struggling at home to give consequences, we're going to talk about it for a few. Okay? Let me know if you struggle being consistent. Let me know if you struggle with, after you give a consequence, feeling guilty, right? Let me know if you struggle with what kind of consequence should I give, right? Number one, as I said earlier, let's stop giving ourselves consequences too. Let's stop putting consequences in place that make us have to work so hard and it's so difficult to keep up. Number two, your child's consequence can't always involve technology. Like, we take the phone because that's the only thing it seems like your child cares about. Let's eliminate that. We're going to do it a little differently. But also, the idea that your child only cares about their technology is not true. That's just, it seems that way because they give the strongest reaction. And it seems that way because they have their technology all the time and they're not really doing much else. Okay? So, as far as taking away the cell phone, taking away the iPad, taking away everything, and I've said this before. If you've been following me for a while, you heard this before. We have to flip it. We have to, instead of your child's behavior getting out of hand, so you remove the devices, they should not have them continuously in the first place. They should have to earn their time with devices. It should be structured time when they get to have their devices, okay? So for parents who have a hard time with consequence, as simple consequences, your child has to be in their room. If they're on punishment, they have to go to their room, right? But then what parents say is, but it's too fun in there. They have the game, they have a TV, and then you try to put them on punishment, and now you have to keep going in there saying, turn the game off, turn off the TV, turn it. The game and the TV shouldn't be in their room. Real talk. The game and the TV shouldn't be in their room. That means that they have access to it all the time. And that means that anything else they need to do, or any parenting you need to do, or any discipline you need to do is secondary to the game and their phone and the TV and their devices. Think about it. When would you have your child actually have time to use their devices? When do you want them to be doing homework? When do you want them to be studying? When do you want them to complete their chores? When do you want them, if they have their devices or access to the TV, when they should be studying? If they have their access to their devices or TV, when they should be doing their homework, and now they have backed up assignments, but the TV and all the distraction is in the room with them, right? If they're supposed to be doing chores, but you have to keep calling them because they won't get off the game, right? So now what you've done is you've boxed yourself into a corner. You can't really enforce a consequence that's simple because their room is a place where they have access to everything, right? So it shouldn't be in their rooms. Whatever happened to going out into the living room and to watch TV, or going out into the living room to play the video games, or going out to, that's where that should be. It shouldn't be in their room. It should be, and let me know what y'all think about this. I'm just trying to help you set yourself up so that you don't have to have this battle all the time. Another easy consequence is simply having them sit. Now, this is important because in school, kids struggle with this, sitting down. And they struggle with it so much, and it's so disruptive that we've developed the idea that it's difficult for kids to sit. They're incapable of sitting. No, they don't. I mean, no, it's not. It's not difficult for them to sit. It's not that they're incapable of sitting. It's that we're not training them to sit, and they don't have enough opportunities to sit. I work with children virtually in my tutoring and coaching program, and that's one of the ways they earn points. And I teach them to sit and remain seated so that we can get through the lesson. You understand what I'm saying? So that they can learn how to read. This is a must. But if at home they never have to sit, and they jump up whenever they want to, when it's time for them to do homework, when it's time for them to eat, when they're up and down, having them sit when they're supposed to is going to help them develop focus and self-control. And when you have to discipline your child and then you have them sit in one spot, you can't move until I call you, they're going to be upset, right? But over a while, they're going to develop that self-control, and whatever behavior they was doing, right, that caused them to have to sit down, they're going to think, I don't want to have to sit and wait and sit and wait. You know, our kids, that instant gratification, they don't know how to wait. They don't know how to be patient. I don't want to have to sit and wait, so I'm going to not do this. You'll see the behavior start to lessen if, well, you know, when they start to do this behavior, you tell them to go sit down right there in a certain spot. You know, call that a timeout. They'll sit there until I call you, right? Or sit there until the timer goes off. You set a timer on your phone, and then you go about your business. This is the next tip. When you give a consequence, they earned the consequence. So if you give them a consequence and now you are feeling guilty about them getting the consequence in the first place, you feel like you have to manage them. You feel like they have to be all right with it at some point, right? Sometimes parents feel like how they feel about the consequence is really important. No, of course they're not going to like the consequence. Of course they're not going to want to sit down. Of course they're not going to want to have things restricted. Of course they're not going to want to lose time off their leisure time, right? If you schedule that in and during that time they get to use their iPad, play games, you know, that kind of thing. Of course they're not going to like it. But that's not the biggest issue. That's not most important. What's most important is when they have to sit down and when they have to carry out the consequence, that you tell them what the consequence is, and then there's no talking after that. You tell them what the consequence is, there's no talking, it must be quiet for you and for them. Don't get into explaining it for a long time and then you get in the back and forth. And then it escalates because they're crying because they want to really tell you how they feel about it. No, don't worry about it. Just tell them to sit, or tell them to go in the room until it's time for you, until the timer goes off. And then you have to, this is very difficult for parents, you have to then become focused on something else, something you need to be doing, something you want to be doing. If you want to watch a movie, if you need to wash some dishes, if you need to cook dinner, if you need to, no, you let them have their consequence and you focus on doing what you're supposed to do, what you want to do, right? Okay, I got to go in a minute, right? But a lot of parents don't know how to give consequences. Also, let me give you another one. Time. A lot of times kids are wasting time. They're wasting time. They're dragging things out. They're stalling because A, they don't want to do what you told them to do, and B, they might be resisting. They're trying to get a reaction out of you, right? So let them, right? This is what I'll be doing. Okay, you don't really want to get this done quickly. You want to kind of drag it out. And then when you start to talk to them about their behavior, what they're doing, and ask them questions, they will stop and like pay attention and think, because you're not chasing anymore. This is what you want to do? Okay. Well, you're wasting all the time. This should have taken 5 minutes, but it's now 15 minutes and you still haven't done it. So, take as long as you need. But later on, when it's time for you to have your iPad time and play the game, we're going to take 15 minutes off that. And then walk away. They're going to stop and think. Let's get out of trying to manage our kids all the time and teach them how to self-manage. Let's get out of trying to get our kids to micromanaging and getting our kids to do what they're supposed to do, but we're working so hard to get them to do that when they can easily make a choice to do what they're supposed to do, when they know what to do, when they're capable of doing it, and they can easily make a choice to just do it, right? This is just like when if they want to go somewhere and it's time for them to get dressed, and they get dressed quickly because, you know, they want to go, right? We're going to go to the park. You got to be ready in 10 minutes. We get ready to leave. If they want to go, they'll get ready. But if they don't want to go somewhere, or they don't want to get ready for school, or they don't want to, whatever the you know, you're going, wherever you're going, if they're not excited about going, they'll play around and they'll take a long time, and all of a sudden they don't know how to put their shoes on, or all of a sudden they don't know how to get dressed, or if they're so tired, they're laying down, they don't want to, right? So we have to get out of thinking our kids are not able and capable of doing things just because that's what they're showing us. And we got to get out of being so worried to give consequences, because our kids need discipline, and this is how they grow. They need discipline. Like, they need us to feed them. They need us to discipline them for success in the classroom and in life. So let's be really careful and get out of the idea that we shouldn't consequence them, that if we do give them a consequence, we have to baby them. We have to make it easy for them. We have to worry about them every second, stop our whole lives to manage this consequence, not be able to do anything. No. Make it easy on yourself. Make it easy on yourself. Make them think about their consequences. Make them understand accountability when they're making a choice, how this is going to affect them later. Don't stress yourself out, okay? Please, when it comes to devices, let's get the devices out of their rooms. Put it in a central location. Structure when they can use it. Okay, just like in school, they have to do language arts. They have, at a certain time, they have to do math. They have to do science at a certain time. They get gym. They get recess. They come back in. They're not having access to their devices, the Chromebook, to play games or whatever game they would let them play in school. They don't get to do that all day. So let's stop having our homes be places where they get to play all day. Not all day. Sometimes you got stuff to do. Okay? And there should be structured time when they get to play, so that they can have so that they can get everything else done. You know what I mean? So I have to run, y'all, but let's talk about this some more. Comment below. Let me know what you think about us stepping up our game with the consequences, and focusing on that instead of making ourselves work so hard. Making sure our kids have consequences and making better choices and growing, all right? I got it, run. Talk to you soon.